With reference to history of India, consider the following statement. 2020. Aurang in charge of treasury of the state. Bunyan, Indian agent of the East India Company. Mirasidhar, designated revenue payer to the state. Okay. What is the answer? How many pairs are correct? 2020. That is answer is, it has to be B. Okay. Because Bunyan is fine. Okay. And these are appointed by East India companies as a translators. Because when they came, obviously they did not know the local language. They wanted local helps in purchase of the commodities. They used Bunyans, Mirasidhars, and particularly in Royatwari areas. What is Royatwari system? Because we are trying to link modern India also. The peasants need to pay direct taxation to the government. And those peasants sometimes during this point of time, they are called as Mirasis also. Okay, Aurang is a different term, and that is used as a warehouse or workshop where the goods collected before being sold. Baniya merchants are interpreters employed by Western traders. Okay, they are Indian traders, they are employed by the Western traders like East India Company. Mirasidhars under Royatwari system, peasants who do pay revenue directly to the state. This system is there. These are all factuals. Okay, so nothing conceptual clarity is there. So it's all about factuals. We're just revising all the PYQs ones. So this is give you a certain sense about what kind of PYQs were asked. 545. That is, we can talk about that is 2014. One question was asked, that is Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri was. It is one of the religious reforms of Akbar, whether it was a mosque for the use of royal family, Akbar's private chamber, or the hall in which Akbar held discussion with the scholars of various religions, a room in which a noble band different religions gathered for religious discussion affairs. Answer is C actually. So Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri, built around the saint, one of the Sufi saint cell, where Akbar used to have religious discussions. First initially only for Islam scholars came, later he allowed it to other scholars also, even atheists also came to know the real truth behind every religion. But instead of discussion, these people started wrangling among each other, they started arguing among each other, like we are seeing in our TV debates today. So that is the reason Akbar disappointed with that one, and he closed this particular hall in 1582. So this is called as Ibadat Khana. This one, Ibadat Khana debates. It's a prayer hall at Fatehpur Sikri in UP, established in 1572. It's a rectangular hall around the cell of a Sufi saint, Sheikh Abdullah Niyaz Sirhindi. It's a discussion on religion, first open only to Islamic or theologians or Sufis, then open to all other religion, even to atheists also, that is don't believe in God. And why? To ascertain the real truth behind every religion. What is the real truth behind every religion? Okay, so to remove differences among them, he also held this discussion, but these people argued instead of debates. So Akbar disappointed and closed in 1582. Okay, so closed this particular debate hall in 1582. So other concept of Akbar is that Deen-e-Ilahi, like I already told you, was an ethical society. Deen-e-Ilahi, kind of an ethical society. It's not a new religion. So certain rules and regulations are there. Akbar is the teacher of this particular sect, not sect, but rather kind of ethical society. Then again, Salhekal. Salhekal. Some pronounce as Sulhekal also. Okay, so this is peace to all. It is a basic meaning. Peace to all. So Akbar believed that third one. It's a duty of the ruler to maintain peace and harmony in the society. That is, maintain tolerance, attitude in the society. So make sure one religious people are not interfering in another religion duties. And that is called Salhekal principle. Deen-e-Ilahi as well as Salhekal. Okay. And then consider the following pairs. Arrival of Babur into India led to the introduction of gunpowder into subcontinent, introduction of the arch and dome in the region's architecture, establishment of Timurid dynasty in the region. See, gunpowder came to India, Babur came to India in 16th century, that is 1526. Again, same typical question was asked. When Babur came to India, which Sufi saint was there? Okay. And now arch and dome, it came with Delhi Sultans. Delhi Sultans came when Ghazni, Ghori, the slave dynasty way back in 12th century itself only, 11th and 12th century. Timurid dynasty is also called as the Mughals dynasty, because Mughals have Timur ancestry or Genghis Khan ancestry. Basic things all these are. So should be the answer 3 only, right? 1 and 2, 3 only, 1 and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, but this was gunpowder. It came to India in 13th century itself only. 13th, 14th century only. Mongols already had brought this gunpowder into India. Answers B. Because Babur brought new kind of guns. He brought new kind of guns. Okay, bigger guns, artillery guns he brought. But the gunpowder itself is Chinese invention actually, and that around 100 AD itself only. Then later that came to India through Mongols. Okay, that is 4 great inventions of China. That is compass, gunpowder, paper making, and printing. Okay, so paper making came to India in and around 13th century. Okay, then gunpowder of course came with the Mongols to India. Gunpowder came with in 13th and 14th century itself only, and that is introduced by early Mongol invaders. Because this was gunpowder was used in the conflict between Vijayanagara and Bahmanis. And Vijayanagara Bahmanis, the Bahmani was established in 1346-47. Vijayanagara was established in 1336. They are contemporaries, and in their conflicts only we can see the usage of gunpowder. Okay, and then who among the following emperors shifted the emphasis from illustrated manuscript to album and individual portrait? They talk on portrait paintings in Mughal times, and everybody knows this is a very famous information in Mughal India. That is, we know that is Jahangir. Jahangir was quite fond of his own portraits. Okay, so taking portrait selfies. Okay, so Jahangir was famous for. Now again, these answer options are there: Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Babur. Where it is repeated. So that is the reason we will see Mughal kings in detail. All the Mughal kings in detail: Babur, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and then again we will also talk about Aurangzeb also. Okay, so that's what we will see. And of course, little bit development of that particular question. Famous painters in Jahangir's court, certain names are there: Ustad Mansur, Abdul Hasan, Farooq Beg, Murad Madhav. Okay, these are some of the questions, or we can say some of the painters in Jahangir court. But normal paintings were there, but he made it as portrait paintings. And again, Yoga Vasistha was translated into Persian by Nizamuddin Panipati during the reign of Akbar. Again, answer options are there: Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan, Humayun and Akbar. We'll see that one also. All the kings we are going to see. But before that, we'll see what is Yoga Vasistha. Yoga Vasistha, that is also known as Maharamayana or Arsha Ramayana or Vasistha Ramayana, and dated to between 6th century to 15th century. There is no very vague date is there, and at the same time it is attributed to Maharishi Vasistha. That is also very vague. Date is also vague because look at that one: 6th century AD to 15th century AD. So there is nearly 1,000 years of history is given for this particular book, and that is quite vague. Yoga Vasistha, but that translated into Persian as ordered by Akbar, and Jahangir also ordered that one. Okay, so it's called as Jug Basist in Persia. Okay, it's a collection of 6 books. It's are in verses form. Verses means poems. Okay, this is Yoga Vasistha, and there is also Maharamayana. Time period is quite vague, and who wrote is also quite vague, but these are in verses. But they definitely translated into Persia on the orders of Akbar and Jahangir. But the answer option, there was no Jahangir, there was Akbar was there. That is the reason I went with that one, and called as Jug Basist in Persia. And again, Nakib Khana. Okay, so that is Akbar's book reader, Nakib Khan, because Akbar was illiterate. Akbar never had the formal education, and this particular person, one department Akbar had, a translation department, and the head of the department was Nakib Khan. He supervised many translations of many textbooks. Okay, translation department is called as Maktab Khana, and most of this translation into Persian language happened. And Atharvaveda by Aji Brahmin Sirindi. You can just look at this list. Okay, Ramayana by Badoni, and Lilavati by Faizi, and then again Mahabharata as Raznama. Okay, that is a book of war by Faizi and Badoni. So these are all the literature that happened, or we can say that is some of the famous Hindu literature that got translated into Persian languages, particularly from that particular translation department. And the translation department is called as Maktab Khana, and the head of that translation department was Nakib Khan, who is also personal reader to Akbar. And some more literature of Akbar time period. So all the lists I have given over here. You can just go through these ones. You can read these ones. That is Babur. He himself wrote Tuzuki Babri in Turki language. It's an autobiography of Babur. Okay, it's an autobiography of Babur. Then translated as Babarnama into Persian by Abdul Rahim Khan. Then again, Aini Akbari and Akbarnama written by Abul Fazl. Then again, Jahangir's autobiography by Jahangir himself, Tuzuki Jahangiri. And most of them are in Persian itself only. Then Iqbalnama-i Jahangiri, Mutamid Khan. It's a biography of Jahangir. Again, Parshanama, biography of Shah Jahan by Abdul Lahori and Inayat Khan. Then Majma'ul Bahrain, The Confluence of Two Seas by Dara Shikoh. Dara also translated Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads into Persian. Then Fatwa-i Alamgiri, it's one of the famous law book, particularly Islamic law books. It's compiled by many scholars in Arabic and Persian, but it was during the time period of Aurangzeb. Fatwa-i Alamgiri, the time period of Aurangzeb. Okay, and then again, Nushko-i Dilkusha, okay, that is by Bhimsen. Alamgirnama by Muhammad Kazim bin Amin. Muntabkab, okay, by Kafi Khan. These are some of the Mughal literature. So these are some of the Mughal literature too. And like I've already mentioned, that is in some of the answer option, Humayun, Akbar, Babur, as you mentioned. In some of the medieval other questions also, some Vijayanagara emperors are mentioned, like Krishnadevaraya. Like I told you, Krishnadevaraya was mentioned in one of the ancient questions that we will discuss here. And certain kings also have been, king's name in answer options have been given, we will discuss. But these Mughal kings answer options have given many times. So we will see all the kings once. Okay, we will see them. So now we will see all the Mughal rulers, because the Mughal rulers' names have been repeated in couple of PYQs, and that is the reason we will see some of major consolidation, the major the Mughal rulers, the origin, and which are Sultan, the 6 sultans we are going to see, and then expansion and consolidation, because their war and everything. Okay, culturally they ask for little portraits also, nothing about, because Babur's interaction led to certain kind of changes also. That in guns, new kind of guns he introduced, that kind of one question is getting repeated. So that is the reason that we will see politically from the angle of certain facts. So origin, again, Mughals is a designation for their own term, is actually the term they use is Gurkhani. Persians means sons-in-law. So that is the word the most Mughals use for their particular dynasty, Gurkhani dynasty. And the use of the Mughal term is due to the Mughal or Mughal is a corrupted form of Mongol, because these people have some Mongol origin, and particularly in Arabic and Persian, some kind of corrupted term of Mongol became Mughal. Okay, at the same time, the emphasis is Mongols origin of the Timurid dynasty, and that is the Changiz and Timur genealogy. This Babur comes from. At the same time, as they were oriented towards Persian rather than Turco-Mongol culture more, even though their origin in Mongol is there, but they're more of affinity towards the Persian culture. The Persian culture is Iran and Iraq culture. Okay. At the same time, Mughal administrative records refer to empire as the country of Hindustan, and documented in Aini Akbari. We discussed Aini Akbari during the time period of Akbar. So, okay, Mughal administrative records refer to the empire as country of Hindustan, and they call themselves as Gurkhani dynasty. And at the same time, they're more oriented towards Persian in spite of their origin towards Mongol region. Okay, now the kings, there are, we can talk about 6 kings are there. So that is mighty Mughals, they are also called as Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, as well as Aurangzeb. So you can just go through these kings once, 1526-30, 1530-40, because in between he got defeated by Sher Shah. Sher Shah defeated Humayun. So Sur Empire was being ruling from 1505 to 1555. Then restoration of Mughals happened. Then Akbar 1556 to 1605, Jahangir 1605 to 1627, Shah Jahan 2728 to 1658, and Aurangzeb 1658 to 1707. And later Mughals came, who are very weak. These are mighty Mughals. These 6 people are very powerful, very powerful. So we will discuss particularly their political importance in Indian history, and then we will go to some other PYQs. So what is Babur? So Babur, that is Zairuddin Muhammad, his original name is, and the same name is the descendant of Timur Khan, also Timur as well as Genghis Khan, also Genghis Khan, and Timur from the father's side, and then again Genghis Khan from the mother's side, respectively. Okay, the born in Uzbekistan, but he faced a lot of rebellion over there, and he had ascended the throne in Akshi Kent. Okay, so it's a Fargana, that's the throne of Fargana in the capital Akshi Kent in 1494. But he faced a lot of rebellion from the localites, and that is the reason he oriented towards India. Because why he claimed India? The Timur had come to India in 1398. He ransacked Tughlaq dynasty, and that led to establishment Sayyid dynasty in around end of the 14th century, the beginning of the 15th century. And now Babur reclaimed the area of India, because he felt like that's the Timur had come to India and he occupied India, particularly Delhi. So that is the reason he came towards India, and also because he was facing a lot of rebellion over there. Invasion of India, of course, happened in 1526. Ibrahim Lodi, Sultan of Delhi, he got defeated at Battle of Panipat in 1526. Again, Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Lahore, or governor of Punjab provinces. So he invited Babur to defeat Ibrahim Lodi. So particularly Daulat Khan Lodi also, as well as Alauddin, uncle of Ibrahim Lodi. They invited Babur to defeat Ibrahim Khan Lodi. And again, later one more battle happened, Battle of Kanwa with Rana Sanga of Mewar, that is Rajput Kingdom, 1527. He defeated Rana in this particular battle. And also, this battle was one of the first in India that featured cannons and muskets. Particularly these battles, that question was asked about, that is Babur introduced gunpowder, not the gunpowder, but a new kind of cannons and muskets that were being used. And in the Rana Sanga's, he got defeated because some of his Hindu chief, like Silhadi, he joined Babur's army. Kind of treason was very common during the medieval times, because everything was looked at from the political angle. So at the same time, he recognizes Sanga's skills in leadership, Babur, and he also talks highly about the contemporary king of Vijayanagara, that was Krishna Deva Raya. We'll talk about Krishna Deva Raya also. So that is two of the greatest non-Muslim kings, he say. And particularly, he recognized Sangha as well as Krishna Deva Raya, Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Deva Rayas are different, Sri Krishna Deva Raya is different. A further expansion happened. The Battle of Chanderi happened in Madhya Pradesh. Chanderi is in Madhya Pradesh, 1528. Medini Rai was also one of the vassals of Rana Sanga, and was also ruler of Malwa, who wanted to help Rana Sanga. And Rana Sanga was seeking the help of Medini Rai after he got defeated at Battle of Kandwa. And that is the reason Babur attacked Medini Rai in Malwa and he defeated him. Babur wanted to isolate Rana Sanga from getting any kind of help from Medini Rai. He was giving any kind of help to Mewar. Mewar was under the control of, we can say, Rana Sanga. And Medini Rai and his family committed Jowar. And inside the fort, that is the Malwa fort we are talking about. These are the three battles of Babur that we can talk about: Battle of Panipat, Battle of Kandwa, Rana Sanga, and associated Battle of Rana Sanga, or we can say Battle of Kandwa is Battle of Chanderi, that is with Medini Rai. Okay, because Medini Rai wanted to help Rana Sanga. And of course, general facts about Babur, that is, he wrote Babur Nama, his autobiography, and he translated into Persian during the time period of Akbar. And unlike most monarchies which practice primogeniture, and that is giving the throne to the elder son, but the Timurids and Genghis, they did not follow this particular policy. Rather, they divided the empire among the sons instead of transferring the throne to the eldest son. So they used to divide this. The same kind of following also we can see in this area too. And again, he brought new big guns into India, that new artillery. They are called as Kazan. One gun is called as, then a second gun is called as Zurbara. There is light guns as well as heavy guns, two artillery guns. So these are the new things that brought by Babur. So now new practices with Babur, and that practice is different. Instead of eldest son, dividing among the brothers. Dividing among the brothers of the entire empire. But that did not play out really well in India, because ultimately that primogeniture battle continued in, it was there in Hindu families also, it was there in Delhi Sultans also, it was there in Mughal families also. Because especially after Akbar, the transition of the throne was not quite smooth. So these are new things, that is Babur introduced two new guns, and that is Kazan as well as Zurbar, that is light artillery as well as heavy artillery. Then Humayun, not so important from politically. Then again, Mirza Nasruddin Muhammad, he ruled in two periods in India, 1530 to 40, then again 55 to 56, only 1 year, and later expanded with the aid of the Safavid dynasty of Persia. In India, he expanded the Mughal empire further between 1530 to 40 with the help of Iranian empire. And even when he got defeated by Sher Shah, he went back to Iran and he took the help of Safavids again. Then he came back and he reconquered India. Okay, and then by annexing Gujarat, Malwa and Champanar and great fort of Mandu also, from whom they are occupied, from Sultan of Bahadur, that is Gujarat Sultan, and same time it's also called as the Muzaffarid dynasty. From Muzaffarid dynasty, he occupied the places like Gujarat, Malwa, Champaner, and again Mandu fort. Muzaffarid dynasty. Then again, Mughals had obtained the firearms, the new kind of firearms from Ottoman Empire, because there were three great empires were there during the Mughal times. One is the Mughal Empire, another one is the Persian Empire, that is the Safavid Empire, and the third great empire was the Ottoman Empire also. The Chinese Empire was also there. That is also one of the greatest empire that was called during that point of time. But majorly these three Islamic empires were there. That is Ottoman, Safavid, as well as the Mughal Empire. Okay, so this is Umayyan. Briefly, we can talk about that is expanded, occupied Gujarat and Malwa from Sultan of Bahadur from Muzaffarid dynasty. And then Umayyan versus Sher Shah story. Sher Shah defeated him in two battles. One is Battle of Chauza in 1539 in Bihar. Okay, so because Sher Shah, his major area is around Bihar region only, river Ganges. Then he also defeated in Battle of Kanuj in 1540. Kanuj is in UP. Okay, in these two battles, that's Chauza and Kanuj, Umayyan got completely defeated. Then Umayyan went to Iran, and Sher Shah occupied Delhi, Agra, and Lahore. That is the major areas of Mughals during that point of time, and resulted in Umayyan exile for 15 years in the court of Shah Tamas. That is, pronunciation could be different. He was the Safavid emperor in Iran and Iraq. And then again, Rao Maldio Rathor of Marwar, he allied with Sher Shah against Umayyan. So one of the rulers, that is Rathor, that is Rao Maldio Rathor. So he helped Sher Shah in defeating Umayyan. So these are the two battles associated with Umayyan and Sher Shah. That is Battle of Chauza and Battle of Kanuj. Then a restoration of the Mughals happened in 1555-56 because Sher Shah Suri had died in 1545 because he had established Sur Empire in 1540. Okay, he died in 1545. Then again, conflicts happened within the Sur Empire. Okay, his son and successor Islam Shah died in 1554. And then again, these two deaths, particularly two important rulers of Sur dynasty, Sher Shah and Islam Shah, and that created some kind of conflicts. And the Sur Empire was disintegrating. And that is the reason Umayyan wanted to reconquer India. And that is the reason he used Bairam Khan on leadership of the same family member. So Bairam Khan led the army against the Sur Empire and led to Battle of Sirhind in Punjab. This is the first battle we can talk about on 22nd June 1555. And the armies of Sikandar Shah Suri belonged to Sher Shah Suri's family. He got defeated by Bairam Khan in Battle of Sirhind, that is in Punjab. Okay, but the Mughal Empire was re-established in India. But again, Surs could able to recapture one more time. Second restoration happened. I think many people have heard about there is a second battle of Panipat, where Akbar defeated Yemu, one of the officials of the Sur Empire, and also who declared himself as king also, M. Chandra, Yemu. And that is the actual restoration of Mughals. But the first restoration happened with Battle of Sirhind. Battle of Sirhind with Bairam Khan. And then again, Akbar, later we were trying to complete Umayyan over here. Akbar asked his paternal aunt, Gulbadan Begum, to write the biography of Umayyan, and that led to Umayyan Nama. So Umayyan Nama was written by Gulbadan Begum during the time period of Akbar. And then Akbar will coming into, so we talked about Babur, we talked about Umayyan. Umayyan got defeated, Chauza and Kanuj. He went back. Then again, with the help of Safavid dynasty as well as with the help of Bairam Khan, he restored Mughals in 1555 in Battle of Sirhind. Okay, but later what happened? I will come to that one. That is Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, 1555 to 1605, and he was under regent Bairam Khan. Bairam Khan looking after the empire when Akbar was minor. Okay, and then again, military innovation we can say. Sought the help of Ottomans as well as Europeans, especially the Portuguese and the Italians. Advanced artilleries, firearms were built. Okay, especially Akbar took a special interest in that one. Gunpowder use was expanding. Gunpowder, I told, came back to India during the time of Mongols only. Okay, combined gunpowder to make bombs. Okay, big artilleries, big guns. Babur already had influence, already introduced the big guns, and now again even bigger guns were being introduced by Akbar. Okay, and then the Mughal consolidation. The Surs reconquered Agra and Delhi following the death of Umayyan. Because Umayyan, with the help of Bairam Khan, Battle of Sirhind happened, restoration of Mughals happened, and now Mughals again got defeated by Surs, and now they face Yemu, a minister and general of the Sur rulers, a Hindu. Okay, so now that led to second battle of Panipat in 1556, where Akbar and Bairam Khan completely defeated Sur Empire as well as Yemu, and now reconquered Delhi and Agra, and now the complete restoration of Mughals happened. Now the consolidation of the Mughal time period started. Consolidation of the Mughals started in India. Okay, so that is Babur, Umayyan, then again Akbar. Akbar again, more battles we can talk about, and that is he defeated Malwa ruler, he is the Afghan ruler, actually Baz Bahadur. That is in, we can talk about 1561. After second battle of Panipat we can talk about, that is battle of Sarangpur. So he conquered Malwa. Okay, particularly Akbar's commanders, that is Adam Khan and Pir Muhammad Khan. So they defeated Baz Bahadur. So now Malwa became part of Mughals, because now we are expansion of Mughal Empire is happening. Again, one small area we can talk about Gar Katanga. So it is in central India in modern Gondwana region, and Gond tribes inhabited this particular name. That is the reason that particular name will come, and that is in Jabalpur. Name of two towns, that is Gar Gad, probably non-Tibetan pronunciation. Okay, Katangi, that is Jabalpur. It was ruled by one of the few women rulers we can see. It's a Rajput women ruler, that is Rani Durgavati. She sent her brother, sent her minister initially to have negotiation with Akbar, because Akbar was asking for his suzerainty, expanding his suzerainty for peace, but negotiation had failed. And now what happened? This army was defeated at Damoha by Asaf Khan. This Garkatanga was defeated at Damoha by Asaf Khan. And then later what happened? In 1564, the Rani preferred to stab herself to death. Asaf Khan now advanced to capital Chauragad, so the capital of Garkatanga. Okay, and then again it was restored to Chandra Shah, this particular kingdom, a brother of Rani's deceased husband by Akbar. Deceased Akbar by Akbar. Now it ruled as under suzerainty of Mughals, we can talk about. So after taking important forts, Mughals took all the important forts, and now this particular kingdom was placed under Chandra Shah, okay, brother of Rani Durgavati's husband. Okay, so this is how this particular place also came under the supremacy of Mughals. First they tried to negotiate, that failed, and now Rani got defeated, and in particular at Damoha by Asaf Khan, she stabbed herself to death. Then Mughal army advanced towards the capital. Now it was restored to Rani's brother-in-law, that is Chandra Shah, and later this particular kingdom accepted the supremacy of the Mughals. And then again Mughals took all the important forts of this particular kingdom, because it is around Jabalpur in central India. Then Rajputana, you can talk about strategically important, and also the Mughals used the help of Rajputs in expansion of their particular empire in India. And also at the same time, it's a rival center of power that flanked the Indo-Gangetic plains. And particularly to deal with Rajputs, Akbar used warfare also as well, diplomacy also. And most of the Rajput states accepted Akbar's suzerainty or Mughal suzerainty. But however, certain rulers, particularly rulers of Uday Singh II and Marwar, Chandrasen Rathod, and they remained outside the imperial fold. Imperial fold, it means we are talking about the Mughals imperialism. Okay, Mughals imperialism. Okay, the Marwar region, and again Mewar region, Marwar King Chandrasen Rathod and Uday Singh II of Mewar, they remained outside the fold of Akbar's suzerainty most of the time. And then Mewar, we talk about, this was very strategically very important, and the shortest route from Agra to Gujarat. Okay, so this was very, very important for Akbar to have most control over Mewar, and also considered this key for holding interior parts of Rajputana, because if you control Mewar, you are controlling entire Rajputana over there. And also Uday Singh, he had offended Akbar by giving some kind of asylum to Baz Bahadur. We talked about Baz Bahadur. Okay, Malwa, conquering of Malwa by Akbar. So Baz Bahadur had taken refuge at Uday Singh, because Baz Bahadur was he was the ousted ruler of Malwa. And Uday Singh descended from Sisodia dynasty, same Rana Sangha. Battle of Kandwa, Babar, the same dynasty we are talking about. Okay, so now when Chittorgarh fort was attacked by Akbar in 1567 and 1568, it fell into Akbar. But again, a lot of problems happened. It was not so easy for Akbar to defeat this particular thing. Out of frustration, Akbar asked for general slaughter of the king, a general slaughter of people also. This is one of the first time and the last time that is Akbar gave these kind of orders to slaughter people also, because he defeated, or he tasted certain kind of defeats, even though the fort became part of, our fort also fell into the hands of Mughals, but he faced a lot of defeats, a lot of losses. So that is the reason he wanted to take revenge against the people, and that is a reason there is a lot of slaughtering of people happened over there. Okay, so last time Akbar ordered such kind of slaughters over there, and that is 1568 we can say, 67, 68. And then again Mewar, again Maharana Pratap, he succeeded to the Gaddi. Again Jalal Khan Karchi and Man Singh tried to negotiate with Rana to accept the Akbar's suzerainty, but no avail. He wanted to fight, and war was inevitable. And a contingent of Akbar's army was led by Man Singh, and Maharana Pratap army was led by Hakim Kansur. They were Afghans. Okay, so under Maharana Pratap. Okay, and then at the same time, Battle of Haldigati, very famous battle. and it happened in 1576. Failed to capture Pratap. Maharana Pratap was not very quite easy to defeat. Then again, it was a stalemate kind of situation. Ultimately, who reluctantly retreated because both sides were equally powerful. So Maharana Pratap, that is, he retreated, but later he started some guerrilla warfare. He was not ready to accept any kind of defeat, and then he continued guerrilla warfare, surprise attacks against Mughals. Mughals were harassed. Okay, so and at the same time, he started recovering the lost territories from Mughals, and only by the time of Jahangir, Akbar couldn't able to bring Mewar under the complete control of Mughals. But later Jahangir, with the help of Shah Jahan, son of Jahangir, so they brought Mewar under the complete control of Mughals. Okay, so this is Mewar, and particularly the Mewar. First time we talked about Chittorgarh, then the second time we talked about Aldigatti. And then some other Rajput states which came under the control of Mughals during Akbar times. So that is Mughal attack on Ranthambore fort. It is very, very important, one of the important Rajput areas. It is ruled by Ada Rajputs, who are also descendants of Chauhan Rajputs. Rajput Chauhans, okay, that's a very powerful Rajputs. So their descendants were ruling over Ranthambore, and that was attacked in 1568 and was the most powerful fortress in India, particularly the Ranthambore fort. And even Alauddin Khalji also tried to occupy Ranthambore. Then Gujarat, 1572, occupied Ahmedabad, 73 Surat, and appointed Kani Azam as one of the governors of Gujarat region. So these are all factuals, nothing to understand. These are all quite factuals too. And then again we'll come to Jahangir. That is about Akbar. We talked about Babur, Humayun, and then again Akbar. And now Jahangir, Shah Jahan, then again Aurangzeb. We can end this particular session, or we can end this particular theme, that is the rulers of Mughals, because that is there in a lot of PYQs. That is the reason we are discussing extensively. And Jahangir, Salim was the eldest son of Akbar and succeeded to the throne and assumed the title of Jahangir. So his original name was Salim, but title was Jahangir. Between 1605 to 1627, Jahangir ruled. But Khusro versus Jahangir was happening. Khusro was the son of Jahangir. Akbar actually wanted to make Khusro as the king, and even certain theologians also wanted to make Khusro as the king, but there was conflict happened between these two. And even nobles also backed Khusro. And then in this conflict, Khusro went and took the blessing of Guru Arjan, one of the Sikh gurus, a fifth guru, and that led to conflict between Mughals and Sikhs. Now Jahangir asked for fine because you are giving blessing to the rival, but later he refused, but he was executed by Jahangir. Now it started to Mughal and Sikhs conflict. It is the genesis of Sikhs and Mughals conflict over there. Okay, so and Thomas Roe, one of the ambassadors of English, they visited Jahangir's court. So first Captain Hawkins came, then again Thomas Roe came in 1615. They got more and more trading concession. We will see that in modern India. So then in consolidation we can see Jahangir was able to settle the dispute with Mewar, that what Akbar couldn't do. So Chittorgarh fort 1567-68, then again Rana Pratap, Aldigatti. So that is kind of a mixed results for both the sides. And now Jahangir, with the help of we can say his son, okay, so that is Shah Jahan, he finally in 1615 he brought Mewar under consolidation. Okay. At the same time, in Amar Singh I, he surrendered conditionally to the Mughal forces and became a vassal, because Amar Singh was the son of Maharana Pratap. So Aldigatti. 1620, he had also been able to shatter the efforts of Malik Ambar to lead a united front against Mughals of the Deccan states. And who was this Malik Ambar? Okay. So Malik Ambar, that is, he was organizing all the Bahmanis to go against Mughals, but that particular plan was also demobilized. Okay, so shatter the ideas of Malik Ambar. Again, to keep the Bengal area under check, under full control, he shifted the capital of Bengal from Rajmahal to Dhaka. So that is Jahangir's consolidation. Jahangir also captured Kangra fort in 1650, between 1650 to 1620. Again, Kangra fort, that is Himachal Pradesh. So this is Jahangir's consolidation, we can say. Mewar was also consolidated by Jahangir. during the time period of Amar Singh. Then in relation with Portuguese we can talk about. Portuguese seized Mughal ships, particularly Mughal ship called as Rahimi in 1613, because the ship was going to Mecca and Medina. It's a pilgrimage ship, and Rahimi was owned by Mariam Uzzamani, that is Jodhabai, that is Jahangir's mother. And Jahangir himself was outraged because foreigners are interfering in the internal affairs, and that is the reason he ordered seizure of Portuguese towns, that is Daman, and at the same time seize all their churches also. Seize all their churches too. Okay, so when Portuguese seized the Mughal ship Rahimi, which is going to Mecca and Medina, and his ship was owned by Jahangir's mother, because Mughal rulers also employed certain ships, and the ships were engaged in trading activities. The ships were engaged in trading activities. Now seize all the churches, because they felt like they wanted to make the foreigners to rule or to follow the rules and regulations of the Mughals land, or we can say Hindustan land. Again, one more important aspect of Jahangir is the chain of justice, that is Muttaman Burj, an octagonal building made of white marble by Jahangir. Okay, so inside the Agra fort, and the people who want to want to approach the king to get the justice, and they could come and utilize this chain of justices. Okay, it's famous for Jahangir's chain of justice, that is Adali Janzir. A chain was set up, is a link between people and Jahangir himself. The chain showcased the link between people as well as Jahangir. And outside the castle, there is a fort. Anyone were free to pull the chain with 60 bells, and now Jahangir will address that one. And I'm personally hearing from Jahangir himself, and that is called as chain of justice, that is Adali Janjir. So it was there in octagonal building, that is Muttaman Burj, made up of white marble. Okay, so that building housed this chain of justice. This is about Jahangir mainly. So all these are factuals, so nothing to understand, but we have to keep on revising all these particular facts. Okay, now we discuss about Babur, then again Humayun, Akbar, then again Jahangir, and now we'll come to Shah Jahan. Now Shah Jahan introduction we can see, that is his name is Muhammad Khan Khurram. He ruled between 1620 to 1658, and Mughals empire, particularly architecturally as well as culturally, reached its peak during the time period of Shah Jahan. At the same time, defeated his youngest brother Shahryar Mirza, and then he crowned himself as the king at Agra fort in around 1628. Again, like I told you, that is after Akbar, the transition was not so smooth. There was a conflict between Jahangir and Khusro also, then again Shah Jahan, then again Shahryar, then again Dara Shikoh and Aurangzeb also after this one. Now what is consolidation of Mughal during Shah Jahan? Some military campaigns. Now Khurram, he presented Kunwar Singh, Amar Singh's heir, that is again heir of Rana Pratap. Rana Pratap I think Akbar tried to defeat Rana Pratap, okay, that was better Faldigati. Then again during 1615, during the time of Jahangir, but Khurram was still the prince then, Shah Jahan was the prince, and then he presented Kunwar Singh, the Amar Singh's heir. He brought under the influence of Mughals ultimately. Again, he directed to deal with the Lodhis in the Deccan, Khurram, okay, and again he was just a prince. We are talking about Shah Jahan as the prince, and to secure empire, the southern borders, to secure the southern border. In 1634, again 1637, and they also had occupied the Baltistan, that is Kashmir ruler, and the Kashmir ruler, that is Abdal. Okay, 34 and 37. Then again penetrated up to his capital Skardu and forced him to submit and pay an indemnity to Mughal rulers. And that is 34 and 37. Shah Jahan as the king, because he became king in 1628 itself only. So these two as prince. These two as prince. Okay, because king was during that point of time was Jahangir. King was Jahangir, we can say. These are military campaigns of Shah Jahan. Okay, then again Deccan. One of the biggest achievements of Shah Jahan is to bringing this Deccan Shahi kingdom, the Bahmani kingdoms under control, some of them. In 29, Shah Jahan deputed 2 armies against Ahmadnagar Nizam Shahis. Okay, then in 32, Shah Jahan captured fortress of Daulatabad, that is in Maharashtra, and imprisoned Hussain Shah of Nizam Shahi kingdom, that is Ahmadnagar was ruled by Nizam Shahi kingdom of Ahmadnagar. Okay, and Nizam Shah was sent to prison in Gwalior. That is the end of Nizam Shahis. This marked the end of Nizam Shahi dynasty completely. And then Golconda submitted, and Bijapur in 1636, and both of them again brought on the supremacy of Mughals. Golconda in 1635 and Bijapur in 1636, and these are the Shahi kingdoms again, Bahmani kingdoms again, and both of them accepted Mughal supremacy without direct annexation by Shah Jahan. And again Mughals tried to arbitrate between Bijapur and Golconda. Okay, so in any kind of disputes between these two kingdoms, who have to arbitrate? the Shah Jahan will arbitrate, or we can say the Mughals will arbitrate. Other two kingdoms of Bahmanis are Bidar and again Berar. So 5 Bahmani kingdoms, Ahmednagar, then again Golconda, okay, then Bijapur, Bidar and Berar. Okay, Bidar and Berar. So these are the 5 kingdoms, but these are very minor, but these 3 are quite powerful. Now Shah Jahan brought these powerful Shahi kingdoms under the control. Okay, and now some external matters we can say. Shah Jahan and his sons captured even Kandahar also. Captured city of Kandahar, that is in Afghanistan in 1638 from the Safavids, but lost very quickly. And he also launched an invasion of Central Asia in 46-47. Now the Balk campaign was also there of Shah Jahan in 1646. Balk, that is in Afghanistan, is the high watermark of Mughals foreign policy. Okay, so now later Mughals, they started to receive a lot of foreign invasions into India, and they were subject to a lot of foreign invasions, but Mughals was at the ability to go and occupy Central Asia also. Okay, that is a high watermark. And again, Uzbeks were defeated by Aurangzeb in 1647 outside Balk, because Aurangzeb was the prince then, Shah Jahan was the king. Okay, and then again, it was beyond the strength of Mughals to control Central Asia, that is far away from Delhi. Okay, and politically also it quite not quite feasible to control that, because the culture was completely different. So that is, they were unfriendly local population, and that is the reason Mughals had to seize control over these particular places. Okay, then nevertheless, it ensured safety of Kabul. So Afghanistan made the frontier. Okay, so but India remained safe from any kind of other attacks, even from Afghanistan attacks itself or from Central Asian attacks, almost for 200 years, almost for at least for 100 years. But later, if we are talking about the 17th century, but in 18th century, so a lot of foreign invasion happened. Amr Shah Abdali, like Nadir Shah of Iran. But for that 100 years, from the Shah Jahan time period to the later 100 years, there was no threat to India, because Shah Jahan had control over the Afghanistan places also, as well as Central Asian places also. Okay, so of course, Afghanistan was controlled by Shah Jahan with the help of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the prince. Okay, now Deccan famine of 1632 happened, and now he set up Langar Khana, that is free kitchens, which was started by Guru Nanak. Okay, the Langar Khana is a concept started by Guru Nanak to end religious discrimination, caste discrimination, because there was a ban of interdining within Hindu society, and that is to eliminate the discrimination. Guru Nanak brought Langar Khana system, that is, everybody can come together to have food, and that Langar Khana free kitchen for the victims of famine during Deccan famine of 1632, that was started by Shah Jahan. And now we are coming to last ruler, that is Aurangzeb. We discuss all the rulers, their military consolidation very quickly. And now Aurangzeb, later introduction, Muhi Aluddin Muhammad Alamgir I, that is his title actually, and that is conqueror of the world between 1658 to 1707, and the greatest territorial extent of Mughals reached during the time period of Aurangzeb, because in the Indian subcontinent. Okay, stretched from Kashmir in the north to Jinji in the south, that's in Tamil Nadu, okay, and to Hindu Kush in the west, to Chittagong in the east. So that is the entire extension, Kashmir to Jinji and Hindu Kush mountain to, we can talk about Assam, or we can say Bengal, today Bangladesh. Okay, then again, world's largest economy and biggest manufacturing power, India became during that point of time. And second, he was the governor of Deccan before becoming the king, 1636-47, Gujarat in 1645-46. He led the Balk campaign also. Administrator of Multan and Sindh, 48-57. Led his father army to Balk, that is Shah Jahan's army to Balk. And he was a war of succession with Dara Shikoh. He was the heir apparent to the throne. War of succession. Okay. And then that is succession, but 2 wars happened actually between Aurangzeb and Dara Shikoh, because some of the nobles started to give support to Dara Shikoh, but Aurangzeb wanted to become king, and he defeated the allied army, that Shikoh and kingdom of Marwar, that is Jaswant Singh Rathore. So Jaswant Singh Rathore was supporting Dara Shikoh to become the king, to become the Mughal king. So Aurangzeb defeated. So in battle of Dharmat in near Ujjain, that's in Madhya Pradesh, and again battle of Samugad, that is Damugad near Agra. And here also he achieved a decisive battle in 1658. He completely defeated Dara Shikoh and he cemented his sovereignty. Now he became the king, and he imprisoned Shah Jahan in Agra fort also, because Shah Jahan was more favor of making Dara Shikoh as the king, and Dara Shikoh got defeated in 2 battles, that is battle of Samugad and then again battle of Dharmat, probably Dharmat pronunciation, please forgive my pronunciation. Okay, so that is near Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh. So this is succession war. Sometimes the battles they can ask. The military campaigns again brought Nizam Shahi dynasty to an end, 1636, when he was the prince, Shah Jahan was the king. 1637, annexed Rajput kingdom, Baglana, Madhya Pradesh. 86, Bijapur kingdom was annexed, defeating Sikandar Adil Shah. 87, it defeated Golconda kingdom by defeating Abdul Hasan Qutub Shah. Okay, and from Golconda, he also captured Kollur diamond mines near Krishna Banks in Andhra Pradesh. So, this is the greatest extent of Mughal territories in India. The greatest extent of Mughal territories in India. Okay, so and foreign relations we can see, and that is French East India Company ambassadors like Babet and again Lagos presented Louis XIV Francis letters to Aurangzeb and urged the production of French merchants in India. And again, he issued a firman allowing the French to open factory in Surat in 1660s. Then again, 1686-87, the Anglo-Mughal war also happened. So, British tried to occupy Hooghly. They tried to dislodge pilgrims. Okay, and that war is called a Child's War also, Josiah Child. Okay, so that is a British representative, we can say, Josiah Child, his name. Okay, he tried to underestimate Mughals' power. He invaded Hooghly, but he got defeated by Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb completely decimated British East India Company. But later they asked for apology. They paid some fine, so it was restored later. Okay, it was restored later with some indemnity. Restored with indemnity, we can talk about. Okay, so this is foreign relationships with French East India Company when Aurangzeb was there. Okay, so this is about Mughals, their relationship. Okay, and their rulers. So how they contributed for the expansion of Mughal kingdom in India.